Welcome to Journey of Life with E.B. Smith. Um, Glad to be back with you again. Today I'm talking about when you're distinguishing between your overreaction and your reaction. Um, Let me just analyze a little bit and I'll tell you one of the things I'm talking about. Um, when you react to something uh, that has caught you by surprise and you tend to make sound decisions, or when you overreact and you make drastic decisions. Sometimes you go way beyond what the problem needs. Um, and so let me be more precise. If you are making a decision at work and you just say you're in a team lead or leader or whatever they call it, supervisor, and you make a decision and nobody follows that decision and something goes bad, how do you react to that? What would you do? What do you do? What do you say to people? Some people have a different approach. Some people have an approach where, hey, I'm not mad about it, but next time do what I tell you to do. Um, some people have a reaction where they, um, what they say, quote unquote, turn into a learning lesson, whatever. So I'm just telling you, some of us don't do that. If I, and because I'm trying to give you some advice on maybe what you should do, I'm going to say it in a way that hopefully it helps you make some uh, better decisions on when you react to something, how to react to something. If I tell you to do something or instruct you to do something, I've thought of all the best ways to do it. I probably sought your more than likely sought your advice. So when I make a decision, it's based on all of that advice. And if you don't do it and I get in trouble for it, shame on you. Yes, that's what I said. Shame on you. It should not be easy for people to, disrespect is a cheap word, to ignore your basic understanding, knowledge, skill set, and direction. When you're leading something, whether it be a family or in the supervisor role, there should be some type of consequences for people blatantly disregarding what you asked them to do. Your reaction should always be just as stunning as their inability to follow directions. Some folks cuss, some folks write people up, some people, well, in the case of a family, some people yell. I hit tables. I'll be honest with you. I'm dealing with my older children and I make a decision based on something and then they don't do it and it causes me problems, then I usually react in a way to let them know that I'm disappointed and angry. Now, there are some times where I take a soft approach, even with my staff, my team members. I take a soft approach because it might warrant a soft approach. And I guess it depends on, I know that it depends on the circumstances. People don't like to be yelled at all the time. But you, in the same token, you can't always be that passive person either. You have to be very firm, just as firm as when you tell them or advise them to do it. You have to be just as firm about when they choose not to do it for whatever reason they had. Um, Ultimately, what you need to do, leave people with, whether it's your younger siblings you're trying to guide, or your um, children you're trying to guide, or team members you're trying to guide, you have to be very firm in saying, because you didn't do what I suggested, you deserve the consequences, and I'm not going to shield you from them. And so if those consequences are already embedded into a process, say you have the ability to write people up, you have the ability to give people days off, um, I'd say that you are to do that because that would uh, prepare them for the next decision they need to be made. Um, what you're doing by letting people off the hook, so to speak, is you're teaching them bad behavior. You're teaching them that if a decision is to be made and they make the opposite decision, not based on any other reasoning other than they just didn't want to do it that way, um, then they should pay the price for that, and we should not let them off the hook. Again, because you're teaching people bad behavior. This whole society works when people keep their word, when people do what they're supposed to do. The processes works well. Whether it's going to a service restaurant to get service and you get good service, the process works well because the waitress get paid, or the waiter gets paid, or the cook gets paid, or the auto repairman gets paid, and everybody goes home with what they need. The car gets fixed. When people don't do what they're supposed to do, they don't follow instructions, nothing works correctly, which is why we go to certain brand of chicken restaurants and we can't get the chicken sandwich wrapped, or it's in a bag, sloppy, or they're out of chicken sandwiches. But you can go to this certain restaurant, brand restaurant, they're never out of chicken. The sandwiches are always wrapped the same. The customer service is always good. That's people doing what they're instructed to do, and that's why the process has to work. The same goes with whether you work in a production plant. The same thing goes with working in a law office. Everything, the process works good when everybody follows instructions. So when you have people that don't follow instruction or advice, sound advice that they've agreed to follow, and they don't follow it, and they don't have any repercussions because of it, because of decisions they made, then they get used to that happening and they continue on with the same bad behavior, or behavior that's contrary to what is expected of them. It's expected that you're going to be an honest person. It's expected that you're going to be a productive person. It's expected that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. It's expected. Um, so whatever guidance you're giving to build that person, and they don't follow it, you make them pay a price for it. We got a whole world full of people that haven't paid consequences, apparently, for the things that they've done contrary to what they were instructed to do. Whole country, from the Army base to the White House. We need everybody following procedures that work well for the greater good, whatever that greater good is. And if they don't, it's noticeable, and it charges and shows a notable difference in the way all of our processes work. So, as an individual, in order for this journey of your life to be productive and sound, heed to instruction, but also when you're giving instruction, make the people know that those instructions, if they're instructions, they're called instructions and not requests for a reason. Request is a whole nother conversation. Excuse me. Excuse me. Wow. But when it's an instruction, it should be followed. Or even if it's advice, right? If it's advice, and say if you gave one of your kids advice not to do this or that, it's going to cost you more money if you do it that way. And then they come back to you and say, hey, I need more money. And you say, why? And they say, I did it this way. you should look at them and say, I'm not giving you more money. That's your problem. And if you do give them money, you ought to make them pay you back. That's to help on their next process. Otherwise, someone else is going to be paying the cost of their misunderstanding or mistakes. Um, yeah. So that's it. Journey of life. Today we just try to distinguish reactions and overreactions. And um, I should have probably said underreactions, right? But really, that's what the subject of this conversation. Give advice, give instruction, but always tie it to what happens when you don't, what you believe will happen if they don't follow the instructions and advice. And also be firm in detaching yourself for what their repercussions are because they didn't follow it. So in other words, don't be the one that pays the price because they didn't follow the rules, what you told them to follow. Make them pay a price. That's how they learn. That's how we all learn, right? It's a journey of life with E.B. Smith. Glad you let me be part of your life.